the Pinkalicious performance with NCTV. It was just obvious that she touched everyone's heart. As a mom, my heart hurts for you, and I'm so, so sorry. I'm happy that we were able to do this for your family, so.
Thank you, Councilor Floyd.
Thank you, Mayor. A year later, and our hearts are still extremely broken by Reagan's loss. I also never knew Reagan. I can't imagine the pain, the confusion, just the incalculable turmoil that that pain brings with it. What I do know, and what this community knows, is that Reagan's life, how she lived her life, her spirit, her positivity, her excitement at NCTC and so many other places at MKMS has made a permanent and enduring impact on all of us, whether we knew her or not. In difficult times, this community's commitment to lifting up the call to be kind is keeping Reagan's memory in all of us strong and bringing immense hope out of a horrible tragedy. So God bless you all for continuing to say her name and raise her memory in all of us. And God bless you, Reagan. We're still thinking about you.
Councilor Bailey.
Thank you. Unless we've lost a child, we don't know what you're going through. We just say we love you. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Nagel.
And eloquently up what previous counselors have said in one way or another of the real honor it is for this council to further commemorate the life of Reagan. And we all hope that in giving this day of kindness, it's not just a day of kindness. As previously was mentioned, every single day, with every little thing you do, whether you were parents, whether you were friends, whether you're children, each little thing you do is an act of kindness. It's something that should be in our hearts every single day, all the time. And it is a tribute, little ones one by one, to her memory. I'm so sad for her loss, but I'm so happy we can celebrate her today by officially on the council saying that every single day in New England is a day of kindness, no matter what your age, no matter what your background, and that it should continue forever. Bless you.
Thank you, Councilor. Deputy Mayor Rada.
Yes. Excuse me. I don't want to repeat what has already been said, and so eloquently in the proclamation as well, but it's very true that she was an exceptional young lady. She's been an inspiration, and her memory will continue to inspire a kind and caring community, and this will go on and on.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Reagan inspired our community. She did. And as tragic as it was, what we've seen come out of it is it's hard to put into words. It's been an inspiration for everyone to kind of step back and, think. Sometimes we get so caught up in our daily lives of everything that's going past us, and we never take time sometimes to just stop and recognize what's important and what's not. And that's what this is. And I think it's so incredibly important that we continue to progress. I still have my pink light in my house, and it's not something that I don't think anyone's ready to move on from. In fact, it's something that we are gonna solidify and try and turn a tragic day into something that can produce goodness and kindness for the whole community. And, you know, I hurt for you and have been hurting and will continue to hurt. And this is a small thing that we can do to help, but anything that we can do is here for you, and the community is here for you. And it's shown that. And I think that's, yeah. All right, so we had a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstained? All right, motion carries 7-0. Councilors Tiniakis and Mankey absent. Come on up. Hello.
Yes, please.
Yes. Don't worry about the timer. Don't worry about it. I'm not gonna turn it on.
Okay. Just a little letter to the community. I wanted to express this on behalf of our family. So dear Newington community, on behalf of Reagan and our family, we want to extend our deepest gratitude to you. As we approach Reagan's 1-year anniversary on August 9th, we are reminded of the incredible love and support we were given in response to enduring the greatest of all losses. Our sweet baby Reagan was the epitome of loving kindness. Her positive impact on her community and beyond is something of which we are extremely proud. At 12 years young, she made the world a better place, leaving a legacy of kindness, which continues to be kept alive by the acts of kindness of others. She was a gift to this world. As many know, Reagan's loss was unexpected, and what started out as a typical summer day full of family vacation preparation turned out to be the worst day of our lives. There are no words to describe the insurmountable pain which accompanies such a life-changing loss. We thank the first responders, police department, fire department, and Duska Funeral Home for all their loving kindness they have showed us during our darkest days. And while our family continues to heal, we are comforted and humbled by the love from the community, which has managed to lift our hearts during our time of sadness. We thank the town for the pink lights, NCTC's Pinkalicious, Pink Lemonade fundraiser, the memorial bench next to the waterfall where we always took our family pictures, the Girl Scout Monument, the Run for Reagan event, the townwide School Wear Pink for Kindness Day, the Martin Kellogg Middle School Reagan Martin's Kindness Award, the swim-a-thons, the donations which helped pay for Reagan's headstone, the hashtag Pink for Reagan, the gifts, cards, the hugs, and so many more to mention. And now the Act of Kindness Day in her honor. I cannot count the number of mornings where the pink lights shining in our neighborhoods, our neighborhood was the only reason I got out of bed and was able to live another day without her. I am frequently stopped by people who share with me an act of kindness that they have done in Reagan's honor. And as a mother, you never want your child to be forgotten. And these acts of kindness confirm she remains here on earth as well as in heaven. Thank you, Newington, for your unwavering love and support. It has set forth an example for showing that kindness always wins. Our family is so proud of this town. There is no other place like it. With love always. Rui, Teresa, Morgan, Reagan, Peyton, Brooklyn and Declan Martins. Thank you.
If anybody else in the room would like to speak about the proclamation, feel free to come up now. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can we leave?
Yeah.
Nothing else after this matters.
Oh, your excuse. Moving on then. Thank you. Next on our agenda is public participation. If you're in the room or over Zoom and would like to speak in public participation, please step up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Thank you so much. If you're over Zoom, please use the raise hand function.
Thank you for coming, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. What a beautiful time.
It's like after soccer club.
Just beautiful. Just beautiful. Wow.
All those kids.
That's-
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless. No, this,
It's all right.
this was the
All right.
important thing tonight. This was it.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. I credit any of you who could speak more than 2 words. I couldn't do that. God bless you.
Teresa, Teresa's an amazing person.
Oh, I
Thank
know,
God
I
for
know.
paper and pencil. I mean,
Seriously. Hello. Hi, Rose.
Science, 46 Elton Drive. Pretty hard to speak after that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Just thinking about every parent that's lost a child. It's awful, very hard. I came up here tonight because I know I'm not gonna make the facility naming committee meeting, probably 29th or something like that. I spoke on Zoom. I don't know whether we were able to carry that night. It was kind of funny with my landline. That, don't get to hear me. But I don't think I gave my name. I will again if I did. Rose Lyons, 46 Elton Drive. I understand naming rooms in the town hall, sort of, kind of, but I don't. Again, I'm going to say it. That when the town hall was knocked down and the new one was built, it was my understanding that no more rooms were going to be named after people. I can understand the want to do it, and I'm not speaking to the one that's before you tonight, because I love and respect Marie Fox. She put a lot of time in here. But all the street signs that are going up, to me, it's street pollution, sign pollution. Half the time, you don't even get to see the signs that you should be seeing. I worked for the probate court for 20 years. I've been retired for 16 years. I remember asking Richard Lozano for a sign at 66 Cedar Street to direct people into the building, because they kept going by it, and turning around at the senior center or Mill Street. Well, now Massacoli Way was open at that time. He said they didn't have enough money in the budget. It's getting to be, it's not who you are or what you are, in my opinion. It's who you know and who you can get to get your name put up on a street sign. There's many people that have done many things for this town. The Mortensen Center, as far as I knew, that wasn't even going to transfer over. I'm glad it did, because Elmer Mortensen, to this day, he and his family do many things for this town. The Joseph Doyle Community Center, or whatever they called it at the time, and Senior Center, that still has it. But I'd like to have you give a lot of thought about naming the old OFI building after anyone. It's the annex. If it's an annex, it's an annex. If it turns into something else 20 years from now, then maybe, yes, revisit it. But I think I read in the agenda for tonight that it's going to be named the Town Hall Annex and at some time in the future may be revisited. I urge that you do not do that. One other thing that came up over the weekend, last weekend, was the traffic signal at Willard and Robbins. Wasn't this past weekend, it was the weekend before. I happen to be one of the people that's kind of slowed down and stopped and got beeped at, things like that. Something has to be done with that light, and I don't know if there's a liaison with police department or DOT, but I'm kind of tired of hearing it's not our problem, it's DOT. DOT doesn't think it's a priority until you have a multi-car accident, and then it's a priority. Last but not least, I was sitting in the back of the room because I knew everybody was going to be leaving. And I don't know if it was because the speakers weren't turned on, but it's very difficult to hear. We have been in this building 5 years, July 1st. And the phone that used to be hooked up here so the public could call in still is not here. As far as I'm concerned, the acoustics in here with the speakers, I don't know what it is. It could be me, my age, whatever. I'm gonna look into hearing aids pretty soon. But it was very hard to hear the lovely proclamation, your words to the Martins family. And until Councilor Lord spoke, I could hardly hear a thing. So to those of you that have thrown your hat in the ring again, thank you. To those of you who have decided to call it a day, I don't blame you. Be careful out there walking around the streets. It's not only hot, people are crazy the way they're driving. I'll see you back there at the table or enjoying your retirement. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the room or over Zoom that would like to speak in public participation? Seeing none. We did not have any email correspondence, I don't believe. Nope. All right, moving on to item 6.
Nothing for Mark.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, okay, I haven't said it yet. I was just- You guys beat me to the punch. Remarks by councilors in public
I'm just
participation.
getting
Deputy
ready.
Mayor
Just
Rada. Yeah.
No, I do want to say, and this is in response, it's in response to Rose.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. I did. I lost you. Go ahead.
I just wanted to respond, Rose, specifically, regarding, and I'm getting over closer to the mic because I want you to, I want you to be able to hear. As a member of the naming committee, what we discuss and bring to the council, just to confirm for everyone, is that these are proposals and suggestions, and they have to come to the council so that we can have further discussion and then a final vote, yay or nay. So I just wanted to let you know that what has been discussed and proposed is not, it's not a fait accompli. This is something that we're going to be discussing a little bit later on, but I want to thank you for bringing that up, and I want to thank you for those thoughtful comments.
Deputy Mayor. Counselor Nagel.
Thank you. In response to Ms. Lyons, I concur about, as I've said several times, many times, about the acoustics in this particular room. And it's particularly difficult tonight until just the mics were all changed. As you know, I have hearing aids and I have this. I don't know whether you want one of these or not, but I know that it's very difficult to hear in this room, and I wish something more would be done for the public at large, not just for me. I also share your concern, Ms. Lyons, with the traffic on Willard and Robbins, since I live very close to it. And it not only is a problem from what has been happening last weekend, but also in terms of the timing of the light going north on Willard, where things back up all the way down to Pheasant Street and even further back for no acceptable reason at all. I realize it's a state traffic light, but still, I am concerned as much, if not more than you are. And also in terms of naming facilities, I feel that it should be, if it's named anything for the moment, it should be Newington Town Hall Annex. That states what is there. And if anything in the future should be done by this council or future councils, then so be it. But I am in agreement with you, Ms. Lyons. Just want to let you know that. Thanks.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Floyd.
Thank you, Mayor. To you, Ms. Lyons, Counselor Nagle, you took a lot of the words out of my mouth. My parents live very close by to that intersection at Willard and Robbins, and I hear from them because they call me and ask me if there's anything I can do to fix it, and usually there isn't. But I do understand and have seen just how bad that intersection gets. I also understand that, you know, it's not our roads, and I think that answer has, oh,
I was just getting the camera. I apologize.
No, that's
Counselor
all right.
Floyd. I was just getting the camera on.
sure. I understand that that's the case, but you know, at the same time, these are our residents traversing these roads. If we don't have a quick point of contact to sort out what's happening there and get it resolved and fixed when those backups happen, then yeah, I don't know what we have. And so I hope we can get that sorted out, and I'm sure we'll discuss that further. And that's all I'll say. Thank you for bringing it up.
Counselor Bedrejko?
In response to Rose, I agree with her in terms of, seems like we've had a lot of, you know, naming suggestions and recommendations. Some were acted upon, some weren't acted upon. I don't know if it's appropriate, but if the naming committee might be able to come up with an alternate way of honoring individuals. I know in the past, it was suggested that perhaps there be some kind of kiosk or wall of honor or something in the town hall, rather than, as she said, putting up, you know, signs here and signs there and signs everywhere. It might be a more appropriate way to honor people, maybe even more people than right now, if we had some kind of even a kiosk or wall of honor. I don't know, but if maybe the naming committee or somebody can look into something like that. Secondly, regarding the intersection, that certainly is not the only intersection in town where we have incidents, but how, because it's, you know, state roads and whatever, and nobody, how do we get, is there a way where the number of accidents are recorded? Is there the number of close calls? Can a camera, you know, not for purposes of stopping or ticketing anybody, but is there a way to monitor that so that somehow those statistics can be passed on to people who can do something? Right now, it's a lot of, I don't mean innuendo is what I'm talking about. It's coming from people's experiences, but maybe if the state or the town saw actually what's happening, somebody will take
Yeah,
action.
I can address this. Two things I want to address. I think the first thing specifically about the mics in the room, I think Scott and I were texting earlier, and I think he discussed it with Rose, but at the very beginning, we didn't have the mics of the room on. So that's staff thing that we addressed in the middle of your comments, Councilor Plord. So apologies about that. But I think we got it under control moving forward. As far as the intersection of Willard and Robbins, the issue was there was a power outage 2 weekends ago, and the way that the basically was the Newington Police Department called it into DOT, and basically DOT asking if we could put up stop signs in all directions, and they basically said no, you can't do that. It was considered a tier, I believe a tier 5, which was considered the lowest level in DOT's mind of kind of an emergency intersection. I think that was unacceptable to Newington Police. I had conversations with the chief on Sunday night about it, in response to Ms. Havens actually sent me a number of emails, but I know that it was all over Facebook. What was happening, and I think where it really got dangerous is, and I'm not sure, I think on the Willard direction, or no, the Robbins direction, I think it was blinking orange, signaling just go slow.
Yeah.
And the Willard, I think it was blinking red. And so that was causing confusion because the people who had the red assumed that the people with orange were going to stop too.
Yeah.
So Newington Police was on it and saying to DOT, this is an issue. You need to get stop signs up in both directions. DOT was basically saying, well, that would send a weird signal no pun intended, to drivers because they would see a blinking orange in one direction, but also a stop sign. So what happened, I think, was kind of unacceptable. I have had lingering ongoing conversations with Chris Savidio, town engineer, about a number of intersections, certainly along that sort of Robbins, Maine, corridor. There's a couple of weird places. I think Maine, particularly Maine and Robbins is also a tricky
Yes.
one. And there is a plan in place to put a dedicated turn signal there. I think there's been some conversation about a long-term plan with DOT to do something about that intersection. What I want to do is do some research with the chief and Chris about this and report back at the next meeting, which won't be for another 5 weeks, but I'll do that. But the point's taken. It was not good. I think everybody was frustrated, not trying to, point fingers at the state, but I think everybody, whether it was employees, police officers, or obviously motorists like yourself, everybody was frustrated by it. So we all have to do better, and I'll report back onto you about a plan to move forward.
Thank you so much, Jonathan.
Counselor Page.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I would just say a couple of things. One is, Rose, I know we joke back and forth, all of us with you, when you join us either at home or here in person. It's so nice to see you in person. But I think it's been said before, and I'll say it again. If everyone in town participated as actively as you do and stayed abreast of the issues, which is a lot of work, sometimes you stay more abreast of the issues than some of us, and it's impressive, and I mean that sincerely. So that's just one comment about your participation, as evidenced by the excellent conversation about safety issues in town and other issues. And then along those lines, I would say I continue to be concerned about Ben and El Grasso, as when it backs up in the morning, as I've witnessed it, it sometimes backs up almost into Fenn and Cedar, and that's jammed up enough. And so I think the state's well aware of it. We've spoken to some folks in delegation. I just want to do another shout out for hopefully the state leadership to try to work with all stakeholders to fix that. And it may be doing something, apparently it is doing something at Fenn and El Grasso. I don't know what that solution should be, but thanks, Rose, for bringing this up. Appreciate it. And I think this is an important conversation. We want to make our town safer for everyone. So thank you. Thanks, Mayor.
Thanks, Council. Any other remarks from council? Seeing none, move on to consideration of old business. Item A, facilities naming subcommittee recommendations. I guess I'll open it up if anyone has comments or questions.
Are you ready for
Counselor
comments now?
Gonzalez.
Oh, I wasn't sure. I thought you were opening it up with something. I was waiting.
think
I apologize. I have some questions about the naming of the building, and I'm not necessarily comfortable with moving forward on this this evening on making a vote
Which building? I'm sorry. Which building?
with the OFI building.
OFI.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not comfortable with that at all. I'm not sure why it has to have an actual name. Could it possibly have the seal on it, the Newington Town seal? So it's identified as a town building until it's completed. And then at that point in time, maybe there could be some public involvement, community involvement in naming it. I'm not sure. It's just a thought, but I'm not comfortable moving forward tonight with this.
Thank you, Counselor. Deputy Mayor Rada.
Yes, I can speak to this. Unfortunately, Counselor Mankey, who is also on the committee, is not here, but Counselor Plord and I make up the other two members of this three-person committee. And we had a very long conversation at our meeting regarding any kind of naming for what used to be known as the OFI building. As I explained and mentioned to Ms. Lyons, we discuss, we come with options and proposals, but that is it. These are only proposals, and they're brought before the town council so that we can have this kind of a discussion and maybe come up with new ideas. And I'm fine with, tabling this. I have no problem with that. I think that we have to, when we're talking about naming, this is something that we need to and will take very seriously. And to have the discussion and to have input from not only members of the community, but other members of the council, I think is very important. And that should give us the information that we need to then feel comfortable as a council making whatever decisions we make. So I want to thank you for that. Lauren Rhines is not here tonight. She also attends the meetings with us. And one thing I will say is that when talking about OFI, the OFI building, those letters are going to be coming down. There's going to be a space and probably some kind of stain from where the, the letters were there for so many years. So there needs to be something, not only that will cover that, but more importantly, that will identify it as now being a building owned by the town of Newington. And a suggestion of having our seal at the moment and at some point in the future, decide how we may want to move forward with naming. Sounds like a good idea to me, but I did want to bring that forward, and I want to thank you for making that suggestion and suggesting that we table this evening.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councilor Draco.
Yes, I have no problem with tabling it, but just in general, again, OFI is a corporation, an independent corporation, and they're no longer a lessee of that building. So we really do and should call it something else. I'm just concerned, well, first of all, the seal, like you said, there's going to be a blank space there, it's a town building, it's a town-owned building, and there should be something reflecting the fact that it's a town building. But additionally, what's going to be there eventually, it's not a performing arts center, it's not an activity center, it's not a indoor pool, whatever. It's going to be town offices. And in terms of confusion, if somebody's going to be calling and let's just say, I don't know, make up a department, or that the town arts department is going to be there. You call on the phone, you say, well, where is that located? You just can't say the town hall because there's two buildings that consist of town hall offices. You can't say, well, go down the street and look for the building with a picture of the, the town seal on it. It's going to house operational town offices and departments. So I don't feel that there's a problem with calling it an annex, at least in the interim, because somebody's going to be saying, well, where's the XYZ department located? And you can say it's in the annex building and not the town hall, rather than having to describe, well, it's in the town hall, but it's the first building you come to or the second building, whatever. I just think annex at this point in time makes for less confusion, just my opinion.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Gonzalez.
Yeah, I just had a couple more things to add that I thought of. I'm sorry. And Councilor Verdicker, I agree with you. I just thought until something was put into the actual building, until it was open, that the seal would identify that it was a Newington building. I think town hall is confusing. If we call it the town hall annex, like you said, somebody may think they're going to town hall to do something and they're going there and they need to come here, and that would definitely get confusing. I forgot the other thing I was gonna say.
It'll come back to you.
Come back there. Let us know if it.
All right, well.
Councilor Floyd.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Councilor Gonzalez, for bringing this up, but oh, sure, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Jump in.
I think what you said was a really good idea about the naming committee and the block or something to put names on in honoring people instead of possibly doing streets and buildings and different things. So I don't know how we move forward looking at that, or if somebody did say, I know Ms. Lyons had referenced that it was said there was going to be no more naming of things. I'm not sure where that was or who that was, but maybe something for us to look into as we're naming things, a lot of things since I've been on the council in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's it, sorry.
No, that's all right.
Thanks, Counselor. Council Porter.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll just say, again, thank you for bringing this up. As Deputy Mayor Rada said, we had a pretty robust discussion in committee about this. It's not the most flashy committee that we sit on, but this was, I think, the splashiest conversation we've had since.
Comes close to insurance committee.
It does, it comes close to insurance. But no, in all seriousness, I mean, it is very important. And as a separate note, I'm sure Deputy Mayor Rada will take some time to discuss this. To your point, Councilor Bedrejko, it is something we've discussed to have, whether it's a kiosk or a wall of honor or a bench, a program, or a brick program. We've had a couple discussions and we're working on reviewing that with staff as a separate matter. But as it relates to this, I also agree with the point you just made, Councilor Gonzalez, that, you know, having town hall in the name can get somewhat confusing for folks who maybe are new to town or haven't come to this, you know, haven't gone to town hall before to see town hall annex on one building and town hall in the other building. And I understand and appreciate that could be a little confusing. And also maybe confusing to have a name on the building in the interim that will get changed at some point, not after a person, but to more, you know, clearly denote what town offices exist in the building. And so I agree that I'm happy to support tabling this and actually referring it back to the committee where I think we can have more robust discussion about this in a more intimate setting, and then just send those recommendations that the committee comes up with back to council when the time is right.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Nagel.
As I previously stated when it came up with Ms. Lyons' comments to the council, that building should be called something, and Town Hall Annex is an objective statement as to what something is. Most people, I think, know what an annex is. If you leave it without anything, even with just the seal, people are going to be even more confused if you think they're confused about annex. And you're going to have a worse problem than you would have with labeling a town hall annex. It seems to be a pragmatic, realistic title to give that most people would understand, as opposed to someone's name, no matter how worthy they are or whatever. So I still think that's the best decision that can be made as of the moment. I have no problem if you want to table it, but please don't blame me when people start getting confused. If this goes on for month after month, and people get on Facebook or wherever and are confused as to what and whatever that particular building happens to be. I'm just being blunt. I'm not trying to be to insult anybody or to offend anybody. It's just what I think the most realistic and best for the town title should be at the moment. Not that it has to be emblazed in stone forever there, but I do think the other alternative is going to be more confusing for our citizens, let alone those who may need to use that building for some reason from out of town.
Thank you, Counselor. Deputy Mayor Rada.
Yes, just a couple of additional comments that I wanted to make that will provide a little more context to what we have been discussing and what we will continue to discuss in this committee. One is that, let me back up a little bit. Our next meeting is next Monday. We will be reviewing everything that we've been discussing, that we did discuss previously and are discussing tonight. In addition to whatever signage is going to be eventually put at the front of the building, on the building itself, there was a thought, and that was brought to our attention as a suggestion, that there would also be let's say wood, for lack of a better term, a wooden sign at the entrance to the driveway indicating what departments, what entities would be found inside that building. So that would be additional signage that could possibly make things, would clarify things for folks. The other that I wanted to address is that we have been reviewing obviously our current policy, which is quite old. It's got to be
At least 20 years
20
old.
years old, I think, and it has not been reviewed and not been revised. And we've also been given some examples from other towns of ideas that they have and policies that they have regarding naming. So one of the things that this committee has decided to take on is a review of that current policy and what we might want to do in terms of suggestions to revise the policy. And some of the things that Councilor Budrako that you brought up were discussed, not in detail because we're not at that point yet, but they will be when we start looking at that policy in depth. Excuse me, are there other ways to honor, memorialize individuals in our community rather than putting up a sign on part of a street or naming a building, naming a room? There are a lot of other options and a lot of other things that other towns are doing that can be very creative and very meaningful. So the conversation has begun, but it certainly is going to go much longer and much deeper, and hopefully will not take us months and months to come up with a plan or a revised document that we would then bring before the council again for further review.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councilor Page.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I would just respectfully submit, agreeing with some that it might be confusing to use the phrase town hall annex or anything in email correspondence or in voice messages or over the phone for newcomers or folks who are have never been to our town. It may be confused with this building. Why not call it, and I submit this respectfully to the committee because y'all are doing the work, just 28 Garfield. I know my youngest son's college uses the numbers of the buildings around his campus in their town, and it makes it easier. Oh, I'm going over to 150, or where's your class? It's at 275, and everybody knows those are the building names. And then unless and until we get to the point where some other naming is appropriate, once we know what's going there, it might be simple because it's at 28 Garfield. So that's my respectful submission tentatively for now, and I wish you all the best and thank you for doing the work.
Councilor Gonzalez.
Last comment, I promise. I think we're all on the same page. We all seem to be saying the same thing. The only thing that I think we need to remember is that nobody's going to be going to that building. There's no public that's going to be going to that building for, I don't know how many years until that's built out. So, you know, Sarah Smith isn't going to be looking for the building and get confused for at least another, and I don't know, however long it takes to build it. So while it's being built, if it's called, what is it, 28 Garfield?
Yeah.
People that doing construction are gonna know how to get there. Nobody else needs to understand what that is because nobody has to go there. So I don't think it's gonna cause any confusion or upset or anything like that. And then when it's time to name that, I think we can handle it or whoever in the right manner. That's all.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Nagel.
Yeah, just to go down a little different path, because I think we've talked back and forth about that building, whatever it may happen to be. I noticed that the resolution that's before us has two different naming things. Are we
Yes.
tabling both? Or do you want to put forth one as opposed to the other, break it up? Well, I'm
I was
fine
gonna
with
get to that.
whatever.
Thank you, Counselor. Yeah, I appreciate the discussion tonight. I think that 28 Garfield Street building, it's a little bit different of a discussion than we typically have around naming. Typically, it's someone's name going on something that's existing, and we're just kind of there. It's a lot different. If council's actually being asked to name a building, so I think it makes a lot of sense to, to take a little more time on it. So I do appreciate the, I think it's fine to leave it up there. I think, I have no issue with the first item. So I think, for the purposes of this, for the resolution, we're just gonna cross out item 2 for tonight and just do item 1. To your point, Gail, I think I agree. when you look at the other town buildings around town, they're named kind of for what they are. It's the Joseph Doyle Senior and Disabled Center, the Highway Garage, the part, they are what they are. So I think, it's hard to, until we know what this is gonna be fully, until it's built, I think I don't think we don't need to, we're just giving ourselves an extra step and making extra government work that doesn't really need to be done necessarily, if we can simplify it. So I think let's bring it, I am in favor of sending this back to committee for further discussion, further review. So for tonight, the resolution, we're just gonna do item 1. Deputy Mayor Rada, would you please read the resolution?
I will be happy to. Resolved that the Newington Town Council hereby approves the following name changes to town facilities. Town Hall Conference Room 110 to the Marie M. Fox Conference Room.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Rada, second by Councilor Plord. Any further discussion on this? Councilor Page.
I just want to take this time to thank Marie Fox for all she's done for our town. She's contributed so much over the years and we appreciate her very much. And I think this is appropriate.
Absolutely.
Agreed. She is missed. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries 7-0. Councilors Tiniakis and Menke absent. All right, moving on to item B, cancellation of upcoming Newington Town Council meeting for Tuesday, August 12th. Councilor Page, would you read that one?
Sure, Mayor. Resolved that the Newington Town Council hereby cancels its regular meeting scheduled for Tuesday, August 12th at 7 p.m.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Page, second by Councilor Gonzalez. Any discussion further on this? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? All right, motion carries 7-0. Councilors Tiniakis and Menke absent. Now, wrap up old business. Moving on in the agenda. Next is tax refunds. Councilor Plord, would you read the resolution?
Resolved that property tax refunds in the amount of $1,482.49 are hereby approved in the individual amounts and for those named on the request for refund of an overpayment of taxes certified by the revenue collector, a list of which is attached to this resolution.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Plord, second by Councilor Nagel. Any discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries 7-0. Councilors Tiniakis and Menke absent. All right, moving on to minutes approving. We have the minutes for June 10th, 2025, June 24th, 2025, July 8th, 2025, regular meeting. Any is there any changes or do we see anything on there that needs to be addressed or corrected? Looking your way, Councilor Nagel.
Yes. I could not find it. I had a discussion with Jonathan before we started that the July 9th minutes never appeared on the agenda page. I couldn't see up until 2 this afternoon. And lo and behold, right in front of me, there are print copies which I scanned over before this meeting, and I have no objection to any of them.
Excellent. All right, then I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes for June 10th, 2025, June 24th, 2025, and July 8th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Flores, second by Councilor Gonzalez. Any further discussion on approving the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries 7-0. Councilors Tiniakis and Menke absent. Moving on to resignations and appointments. You have one, wait a second.
One resignation.
First we have item
Yeah,
A.
they're switched, yeah,
Oh,
in that
okay.
order in the packet.
Gotcha. Okay. So the first thing is an amendment to the January 14th. Employee insurance benefits for the appointment. You want to explain what we're doing here, John?
Yeah, I mean, real quick, yeah, this was just James as part of his, when updating the list of vacancies, realized there was a spelling error in a resolution from January 14th for Mr. Darna, excuse me, was spelled Darnell in the original resolution, so he's recommending that council amend the minutes of January 14th to correct that spelling mistake. So,
Councilor Drago?
On the resolution, it says Development Commission.
It does.
Where?
On the actual resolution.
Right here. Um,
so yeah, I mean, then you can just simply change, I mean, this can wait till next time, or you could just.
Could
when
just
you read
change,
the motion,
Yeah.
just employee insurance and pension benefits committee.
Councilor Drago, would you like to read the resolution?
Resolved that the Newington Town Council hereby moves to amend the approved minutes of January 14th, 2025. Page 7C, various appointments, employee insurance and pension benefits committee, to correct the appointment of Scott Darrow to properly reflect as the name of Scott Darna for a term to end 11/30/2025. And be it further resolved that the Newington Town Council hereby moves to amend resolution 2025-4 to correct the appointment of Scott Darrell to properly reflect the name of Scott Darna as shown below. Employee insurance and benefits and Employee Insurance and Pension Benefits Committee. Name Scott Darna, address 75 Superior Avenue, Party R, term immediate to 11/30/2025, replaces Anthony Koloski de facto.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Draco, second by Deputy Mayor Rada. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? Motion carries 7-0. Councilors Piniakis and Menke absent. And we're moving back to item B, resignation, Newington Housing Authority. Councilor Page, would you read that, please?
Thank you, Mayor. Resolved that the Newington Town Council hereby accepts the resignation of Patricia Mahoney as a member of the Newington Housing Authority in accordance with the correspondence received July 7, 2025, and effective immediately.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Page, second by Councilor Gonzalez. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? Motion carries 7-0. Councilors Piniakis and Menke absent. All right, moving on to new business, and we have none. Moving on to item 12, written and oral communications to town manager.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. A few things I want to bring to your attention. Obviously, by all accounts, Extravaganza was a fantastic event. No arrests to my knowledge, Sergeant Esposito. None that you're aware of. It was a fun time. Everybody loved the fireworks and all the activities. Kudos to Bill and his team, his amazing team of both staff and volunteers and Park and Rec commissioners. Speaking of Parks and Rec, on this Friday from 4 to 9, Jersey Mike's on Fenn Road is hosting a fundraiser. So 20% of the proceeds of all of their sandwiches, and I guess drinks too, will go to benefit Parks and Rec. So please take your family for dinner there. On the EOC front, after all that discussion about the name of the building, Joe, Lauren, DJ reviewed the various bids that came in. The low bidder they determined was responsible, so they're going to issue a notice to proceed to them. The bid came in well under budget, about 1.3, I think, 1.3 million, which is well under what we budgeted for it. So that's great news. And hopefully you'll start to see construction as early as next month. So
Wow,
fantastic. So on a less positive note, the 272 West Hill, I remember that the historic property that was sort of slated for demo last fall, maybe. We did apply through CROG for a grant to quote unquote pencil out the feasibility of the owner developing that property, keeping the historic structure, putting in a couple additional units to see if it would be economically feasible. Unfortunately, the project didn't get selected for funding. There were only 3 properties selected out of 25 applications. So you have to go a little bit back to the drawing board, have a conversation with the owner, but I just want to keep you guys in the loop on where things stand with that. It's been a long time coming. And last thing, just sort of in a little bit of good news. Last week, the health district came, Ann Hartman from the health district came and to present a pin to a Newington resident named Lori Cabral. And Lori is a wonderful woman, retired, I think, for quite a bit now, an older woman. And during their walking challenge, she walked for the third year in a row. She, in the month of, was it May, I think, or maybe June, during whatever the period was, the month-long period, she walked 1 million steps.
Wow.
And if you saw Lori, as I said, she's an older woman, you wouldn't immediately, she's the kind of person, really 1 million? And it's been verified with a pedometer and everything. She was very resistant. She didn't want her picture, posted on her Facebook page or on the homepage. But I'd be remiss not to give a shout out to her because it was one of the most inspiring, one of those real feel good inspiring.
Absolutely.
And that's all I got.
Thank you, Jonathan. Moving on to council liaison committee reports. Any updates from counselors on committees? Counselor Draco.
Just an update from the fire department building committee. The Dix Avenue site was reviewed with the town engineer, the town planner, the town manager, and determined that there's no way to adequately use that as a spot for a firehouse floor. There's steep slopes. There would be a number of logistical issues, plus the fact that currently it's a dead end, so gosh forbid, like if a tree fell across the end of the Dix Avenue, the fire department wouldn't be able to get out, so the decision is to stay at the current location of Firehouse 4. The next step is, Jonathan reported that, there was an implementer grant for the town of Newington for the amount of $50,000. It was passed and intended actually for an animal shelter, but not all that money is needed for the animal shelter. So the excess money, probably about $30,000, will be able to go towards hiring a consultant or contractor to do a high-level design for company 4, whether it's, renovate, replace, whatever. So that will be, I guess they're going out for bids now, and hopefully that will be able to be implemented fairly soon.
Thank you, Counselor. Deputy Mayor Rada.
My hand is raised for Council Floyd.
Counselor Floyd.
My phone has died, and so thank you, Deputy Mayor Rada. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I really just had thank yous to Jonathan. So thank you for the update on 272 West Hill. And of course, please keep us abreast of any additional updates with the property. I am glad to hear, though, that the conversations are still ongoing. The property owner is still amicable to that discussion. So thank you for that. I also wanted to just give a shout out to Bill and Parks and Rec for the extravaganza, but also to the many sponsors that make that event happen. Many of them small businesses. It's tough enough to be a small business owner these days, but to also give back to your community, invest a little bit, and support those efforts, including the fireworks show, which I thought was one of the best we've ever had. It was amazing. It deserves being commended. And then just the last thing I wanted to share is I know the Human Rights Commission that Councilor Gonzalez is a liaison to. They, along with Parks and Rec and the Senior Center and Human Services, are pulling together a community service day on Thursday at Mill Pond Park to also acknowledge the anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. That's from 6:30 to 8:30. My understanding is there's going to be many vendors there providing direct services. I know Deputy Mayor Rada will be there as well in a different capacity.
Yes,
providing
not
services.
as deputy mayor.
So just encourage folks to come out and support that event as well.
Mayor Trister, you will be there doing something special?
Oh, that's right. That's
Handing out
right.
ice cream, that's right.
How could I forget?
Handing out ice cream to people on a hot day. No, it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait.
Bring some for us.
You guys get there early.
He can hand it out. He's not allowed to eat.
Yeah, I'm
it.
not allowed
Yeah.
to show favorites.
Bring some to over to me.
Yeah. Counselor Page.
Thanks, Mayor. Just briefly, it's funny, Counselor Plur was thanking the town manager for 272 West Hill and all your work on that. And I was also had a note, not only to thank you for that and to keep us updated, but to thank you, Counselor Plur, because I know when this came to our attention, and as many of us have driven by that beautiful old historic building, and we're sad as we saw it continue to deteriorate, if there was any way to save it. And I think it was your leadership and maybe others. I don't want to neglect anyone else, but I remember you really spearheading an effort to see what might be done. And thank you for doing that, because hopefully it could still be saved, at least the facade, to maintain the character, the historic character of that area. So thank you for that. And I also wanted to say that we love the fireworks. They were, and I know maybe we say this every year. I thought they were beautiful. I mean, really beautiful
Yeah.
and a wonderful day or week, actually. And also, I know I asked the town manager recently about ADA challenges in our infrastructure within town, and under the town manager, several staff. I really appreciate it. I didn't expect you to respond so quickly and thoroughly, but you did, as always. And we're in very good shape, it looks like, by all accounting. There are still little spots here and there that need to be addressed. I continue, as many of us do, to be disappointed with the pools being, not only the overall pool situation, which we won't get into, but the ADA challenges there. And so I know we're aware of that and we'll continue to work on those, but thank you for your efforts with all that. And please thank your whole staff throughout the town to make sure we're keeping up to snuff with ADA compliance so that everyone can enjoy our facilities. So thank you. And that's it, Mayor. Thanks.
Thank you,
I'll just say, Counselor Page, thank you for that. It was a real team effort together with Counselor Petracco and Deputy Mayor Rada to, in a bipartisan way, nonpartisan way, to make sure that we preserve our history and ensure that the next generation understands where we've come from and where we're going. So thank you.
All right, any other updates from council? Seeing none, we'll move on to public participation again. If you'd like to speak in public participation, come on up, state your name and address for the record. If you're on Zoom, use the raise hand function and we'll alternate between in the room and over Zoom.
Rose Lyons, 46 Elton Drive. Counselor Page, thank you for the kind words. You and I go back to the Joint Committee on Community Safety.
We do.
Way before then.
2007.
Yeah, a long time before then, too.
Before then?
Kids,
Sorry,
they're
sure.
all grown up now. I want to speak to charter revision, but first with this land on Willard and West Hill Road, and some other places here in town. It wasn't until Councilor Pedraco brought up the line item for land acquisition, I believe, a few years back, that money was supposed to be going into that account. For years, it wasn't done. And unfortunately, this is what happens in this town. I've been around too long. I turned 80, I've been here 78 years. I go back to not the beginning of the century, but close enough. But in any case, I had asked before if some of that money from National Welding that I waited 12 years for it to be sold, maybe could not be put all into the general fund, supplement that land acquisition. So when there's something there that we need, the money's there. Or if a study has to be done, do it. Instead of waiting. The firehouse situation, Warren Klepp was chairman of the CIP when this started being discussed. Under Chief Schroeder. How many studies do we have to have? How many plans do we have to make? In any case, charter revision. I was thinking about that today, and I think it had with the latest charter revision that we did, that it's a mandatory 10-year review of the charter. I don't know how much of the ethics board is covered by the charter, but I think the makeup of the board may be. I believe when Jamie was acting town manager, she was keeping a record of what she thought needed to be changed based on this last ethics. The ethics complaints that were filed. I will be writing an email to you. I haven't written you in a while, but education. I hope there's a file somewhere of all these things, because it's going to 10 years from now or 8 years from now, nobody's going to remember what we had problems with. The facilities naming, the this, the that, you all come up with great ideas as you're sitting around here, but and we've been through 5 town managers, and 7 years, 10 years, whatever. So in any case, that's one thing that I wanted to mention, because I know I'm not gonna be here in 10 years to be giving you my thoughts on what should be changed. I like the discussion that you had about the naming committee, and there are other ways to honor people. I'm not saying that these people shouldn't be honored. This room here, when it was in the old town hall, it was the Curtis Ambler room, because it was a TPZ room, and everybody moved everything around. The only thing that stayed the same, I think, is the Helen Nelson room. So these are things we have to look at. The DOT. I've been around long enough that I have had to emails with them about the lights on Constance Lee, about the light at Maple Hill and Cedar Street, and how that didn't sync up after their projects. I get it, it's their roads, but we have to drive them. And unfortunately today, like I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, the road that I use the most, Main Street, because I feel that's the safest, was closed. So, and I don't have any apps on my flip phone, so I wasn't aware of it. So that I challenged, or given the challenge to Dana Havens to call me and let me know what's open and what's closed downtown. And maybe after the meeting, I will ask the sergeant over here about the blinking light at Willard and Robbins, because the example they gave on the police website, Facebook page, was that it is completely blank or dark. If it's not operating at all, this is what we do. But how do you know that one side has red when you have the yellow? I had yellow going west or south, with the others had red, and nobody knew what to do. So anyway, with that being said, thank you again.
Thank you,
And, appreciate all you do. But keep that ethics board in mind. If I'm not around here, I want you, Gail, to take care of that.
I might be gone before you.
Thank you, Ms. Lyons.
Thank you, Rose.
Anybody else in the room or over Zoom that would like to speak in public participation? All right. Moving on, remarks by counselors. Any comments from counselors on tonight? Counselor Nagel?
Turn my volume down here, so there's no feedback. Since we have been talking about historical buildings and whatever, the Historical Society is having a lemonade event at the Kelsey House. Most people know about the Kellogg House, but the other house is also a very great, unique historic value. And this lemonade social is taking place Saturday afternoon, I believe, 1 to 4. You can go on tours. There's weaving. There's homemade cookies.
The best.
So that enough is to bring people out, and this is a nice social event. It's on the corner of Main and Copper Beach. Also, and separate from that, it came to me that indeed, knowing about where there were problems with lights and whatever, I remember several years ago when they wanted to straighten out Garfield Street. And also there was the ongoing problems with where there are accidents on Cedar Street. A report did come out, I believe, from the police department in terms of where accidents and different kinds of events had taken place over a period of time. Perhaps looking back at that and looking at to see if indeed those records of incidents or accidents can be applied to the intersections that we have talked about tonight, because I know they have happened, and I know there have been tons of near misses. How often the police department has gone out and literally been involved, I don't know. But it's another way of looking at and validating that indeed this is an ongoing problem. Just a minor thing also, it was yellow on Cedar, on Willard going north and south, having lived that and having seen people decide, well, I'm going to go north. No, I'm going to go south, and then I'm going to go down the side street and go north just to avoid it. That it's things of that nature affect the side streets in neighborhoods, because traffic flows where there's the least resistance and where there's the least fear of something happening, even though all those twists and turns may be just as hazardous as just going to that, those intersections. That's it.
Thank you, Counselor. Any other remarks from counselors? Seeing none, moving on to info items, any informational items, they've sort of covered everything already. Good, very good, all right. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion, Counselor Flores, second, Counselor Gonzalez. Any discussion on adjournment?
Negative.
None, all those in favor? Any opposed or abstain? All right, motion carries 7-0. Counselor Siniakis and Mankey absent. We are adjourned 8:19 PM. Great meeting, everyone.